Hello Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So Virgo, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energy. We're going to see how the both of you are currently viewing this relationship and how you guys feel about it and what actions you guys plan on taking each other's direction and are moving forward. So with all that being said, Virgo, let's get started. How does Virgo currently view this relationship? All right, Virgo. So we do have the Seven of Pentacles, we do have the Two of Wands, and then we also have the Judgment card. The bottom of the deck, we do have the Wheel of Fortune. So in regards to how you're currently viewing this relationship, Virgo, okay, so there's somebody here that you find yourself connecting with. Now, whoever this person is that you find yourself connecting with, Virgo, it's somebody that you've been investing a lot of time and energy towards thus far. Now, with the Judgment card coming out here, this person that you've been investing a lot of time and energy towards, it's somebody that obviously you want to continue to invest more time and energy towards. But with that Judgment card coming out here, this to me kind of feels like an energy of like uncertainty. Like you're not entirely sure, right? If this relationship that you're investing so much time and energy towards is honestly going to essentially work out in your favor or not. But even though you're unsure if this relationship between the two of you is going to essentially work out in your favor or not, you don't necessarily allow that uncertainty to essentially stop you from investing more time and energy towards this connection that you currently find yourself in. Now, of course, something could have happened throughout the course of your relationship with this person that could have caused you to, really question if things are actually going to work out between you and this person or not. This could also have a lot to do with you learning to embrace the level of the unknown, which I feel like when it comes down to like Virgos specifically, I think Virgos, out of all these zodiac signs, now that I think about it, Virgos are the ones that have the most difficult time embracing the level of the unknown, because Virgos need to be certain about absolutely every single thing. So you could be learning how to essentially embrace the level of the unknown. If so, I think that you're doing a really good job at it. It could have been something that you were struggling with initially at first when your relationship started with this person, but it kind of looks like you're learning to embrace the level of the unknown without fear and or hesitation. But like I said, Virgo, this could have a lot to do with things that have gone on within your relationship with this person that has caused you to kind of question whether or not this dynamic between the two of you is going to work out or not. But it kind of looks like because you want the relationship to work between the two of you, and you want to continue to invest more time and energy towards this dynamic between the two of you, you're just kind of learning how to put, your trust and faith into this dynamic here between the two of you is basically what I'm getting. But also, like I said, embracing the level of the unknown at the same exact time. All right, let's look at this person. All right, so in regards to how this person is currently viewing this dynamic between the two of you. So we do have the Ace of Swords, we do have the Three of Cups, and then we also have the King of Pentacles. The bottom of the deck, we do have the Star out here. So in regards to how this person is currently viewing this relationship with you, the fact that we have the Seven of Pentacles out here for you, and we have the Three of Cups to the Ace of Swords out here for them, that's kind of telling me, Virgo, that's kind of telling me that from the start of this dynamic here between the two of you, whenever this relationship initially started between the two of you, they just knew right away that you were the one that they essentially wanted, okay? They were 100% sold on you, that you were essentially the one for them. They just kind of knew this from the start. So we're not really seeing any sort of level of uncertainty coming from this person, whatsoever. I just kind of feel like when this person met you, whenever they did meet you, they just instantly knew you were the one that they wanted to build with, you were the one that they wanted to settle down with, you were just the one for them. Now, I do want to jump back over to you to see how you're currently feeling about this relationship. How does Virgo currently feel about this relationship? Okay, so we do have the Empress to the Emperor, and then we also have the Fool out here. I really like your energy, Virgo. I do. I really like your energy, especially because you're a Virgo, and Virgos have a very difficult time embracing the level of the unknown, because Virgos need to be 100% certain about absolutely everything. And even though we see this level of uncertainty within your energy, we do kind of see it, basically dissipating. I feel like this level of uncertainty, at least for you, may have created a lot of like worry and concern, because at the end of the day, you're investing the very thing you can never get back, which is basically your time, right, into this person, to this relationship. So even though we do see the level of the uncertainty, right, kind of causing possibly worrying concern for you within this dynamic that you share with this person, you're still choosing, like I said, to take a chance on them and your relationship with them. But I feel like the more you learn to embrace the level of the unknown, the more this level of like uncertainty that is unfortunately tied to like worry, fear, anxiety, things of that nature, it starts to dissipate on you. So you're not going to find yourself as worried and or concerned with the, but what if this happens and what if that happens? I don't want to waste my time, and what if this and what if that? Like, you're not going to find yourself having those thoughts, worries, and or concerns when it comes down to this person. You're just learning to kind of take a chance basically on this person, not really knowing how things are going to essentially play out between the two of you, not knowing if things are going to work out in your favor or not. You're just learning to basically take a chance, and whatever happens, whatever comes. It's basically what I'm getting. And I think that that's going to cause you to develop a lot of peace of mind within your relationship with this person. How does this person currently feel about this relationship? Okay, let's do this. So we have the Eight of Cups. We do have the King of Cups, and then we also have the Nine of Pentacles. The bottom of the deck, we do have the Queen of Pentacles. True pair situation yet again between you and this person. We do have the King and the Queen of Pentacles, to the Emperor, to the Empress. So you guys are very compatible to one another, to say the least. I think that you guys can connect with one another in all sorts of different levels, which I really, really do love. Now, in regards to how this person is currently feeling about you and their relationship with you. With the Eight of Cups coming out here, I do want to look a little bit more into this energy because this to me kind of feels like an energy of them either walking away from something or letting something go. I am definitely getting that. So I do want to look a little bit more into that. It's as if this person feels like they have to walk away from something or let something go or change something in particular about themselves in order for this dynamic between the two of you to work, is basically what I'm getting. Tell me more about the Eight of Cups. We have the Ace of Pentacles, so Six of Swords. We also have the Page of Wands, and then we also have the Moon out here. Yeah, Virgo, I do see this person walking away from something, but I do feel like that something has a lot to do with the life that this person was essentially living prior to essentially meeting you, is basically what I'm getting. Prior to this person essentially meeting you, I mean, we do have the Nine of Pentacles out here for them. It kind of looks like this person was just very... It's not a judgmental thing, it just is what it is. But I feel like this person, because what I'm kind of getting is that they are leaving, obviously, you know, the life that they were essentially living prior to essentially meeting you behind. Yes, I am getting that. Obviously, because they want to pursue you in a life with you. That's why they're doing it. But I'm also getting this way of being that they're also essentially leaving behind. Prior to this person essentially meeting you, this person was a very selfish person, and it's not a judgmental thing. It just is what it is. They were a very, very selfish person. Like, they only simply thought about themselves, nothing more and nothing less, is basically what I'm getting. And that's another thing that I see this person leaving behind as far as like their old ways of being is concerned, because it's not going to work if they're trying to essentially pursue a life with you. Like, they can't turn around and pursue a life with you and only think about themselves and be selfish. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I do see them essentially leaving that behind. I think that this is going to be an adjustment. I will say that for this person in particular, it's going to be a massive adjustment. Anybody who harnesses Nine of Pentacles energy typically has a hard time from harnessing Nine of Pentacles energy to like being in a full-blown committed relationship, because Nine of Pentacles energy just represents somebody who's single and alone, and it's somebody who has adjusted and adapted to essentially being single and alone and not having to take somebody else's feelings into consideration or consider somebody else, you know, things of that nature. So this person knows, in order to obviously pursue a relationship with you, these are things that need to be left in the past, okay? They can't go off and pursue a relationship with you and not consider you or take your feelings into consideration. You see what I mean? Or continue to be this selfish individual who only thinks about themselves and nobody else. So with that being said, this person kind of knows exactly what they need to stop doing and leave behind if they truly do want to pursue a life with you. Now, There's a huge possibility, Virgo, that this person could have definitely taught you how to embrace the level of the unknown. And here's why I'm kind of getting this, is because this person does not struggle at all when it comes down to embracing the level of the unknown. If anything, they lean into it. You, on the other hand, it's kind of hard for you to essentially do that. And I think that it has a lot to do with you just simply being a Virgo. Virgos, like I said, have a very difficult time embracing the level of the unknown. It just is what it is. But this is that type of person that doesn't fear the level of the unknown whatsoever. They lean into it. So you could have definitely learned to lean into the level of the unknown throughout the course of your involvement with this person, because it looks like you've been dealing with this person for quite some time now. I am definitely getting that. So yeah, you could have definitely learned how to embrace the level of the unknown, because this person kind of has like the mentality of, you know what, whatever happens, happens. If it works out, then it does. If it doesn't, then it just simply wasn't meant to be, and I'll just accept that. And I think that that's the energy that you're starting to kind of harness now within your relationship with this person. Okay, another thing too, we have the King of Cups out here. So that's telling me that this is somebody who's very, very invested when it comes down to you. Emotionally speaking, they're very, very invested when it comes down to you. And because of that, okay, this is kind of why we see this person, you know, for the most part, doing things on their end to essentially change their ways in order to build and establish the life that they truly want and desire with you. So just like we see this person changing their ways in regards to like not being this selfish individual anymore, because it's not going to work being in a relationship, being this individual who only, you know, thinks about themselves and nobody else, like that's not going to work within a relationship. And these are things that this person basically knows. So when it comes down to masculine energies, one thing that I notice about them is that masculine energies are only willing to change for only one person, and that's basically the one. If masculine energies don't consider you to essentially be the one, they're not going to basically put in the time, energy, and or effort into essentially changing their ways. It's just, they're just not going to do it. They only change for the one is something that I've essentially noticed off of masculine energy. So the fact that this person, you know, is essentially making changes on their behalf in order to pursue a life with you just goes to show that this is somebody who truly does consider you to essentially be the one for them. Okay, let's keep going. What actions will Virgo take towards this person or moving forward? So we do have the 10 of Swords, we got the 5 of Pentacles, and then we also have the Queen of Swords out here. The bottom of the deck, we do have the 2 of Pentacles, and then we also have the 4 of Cups, and then we also have the World to the 7 of Swords. Going back to what I said, you've been dealing with this person for quite some time now, and this level of uncertainty, you know, has definitely been creating a lot of worry and concern for you, Virgo, because you've been, you know, dwelling on the whole, but what if this happens, what if that happens, right? And I think that that did create a lot of worry and concern for you throughout the course of your relationship with this person. It could have caused you to really question them and their intentions towards you, you know, things of that nature. This to me just kind of feels like an energy of you kind of reflecting back on the person you used to be within this relationship, because it kind of looks like once upon a time you are very fearful to invest all that you have to give into this person, into this relationship, out of fear that, you know, this person is, you know, is just here to basically play games with you and waste your time, out of fear that you know, were to end up getting betrayed or deceived by this person, things of that nature. This is the person that you used to be within this dynamic between the two of you, which is the person that you're not anymore. And I kind of see you reflecting back on the person that you essentially used to be, honestly, with a lot of regret, primarily because a lot of you are now essentially realizing that the reason why you were the way that you were back then had a lot to do with, you know, your past traumas. I mean, you are coming across as a Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is somebody who has been through a lot in previous relationships, making it hard for that person to essentially trust and be vulnerable with, you know, somebody brand new, considering everything that they've essentially went through. And the fact that you're coming across as an Empress, that's kind of telling me that you've learned a lot throughout the course of your relationship with this person. You've definitely grown and evolved as an individual, and you definitely overcame a lot of things that were essentially hurting you and affecting you within this dynamic here between you and this person, just based off of things that you've experienced prior to essentially meeting this person. So with that being said, Virgo, you've definitely come a long way, but I do see you, like I said, reflecting back on the way that you used to be with a lot of regret. It's kind of like the epitome of you thinking back on how much you used to stress over this, that, and the third, things that you didn't have to stress over, but you did. things like that, for basically no reason. You know what I mean? For basically no reason. And I think that you're realizing that now, that yeah, back then you used to stress over things you shouldn't have to basically be stressing over. But the only reason why you did was because of everything that you've been through. You used to worry about things you didn't necessarily have to worry about, but the only reason why you did was because of everything that you've been through. And it's as if you wish you can kind of go back into time and basically start all over, because at the end of the day, you being this way and breaking this, habit of constantly thinking the worst when it comes down to this person, assuming the worst when it comes down to this person, that took up a lot of your time and a lot of your mental energy, and it robbed you of your peace of mind. So yeah, I do kind of see you reflecting back on this old version of yourself with a lot of regret. I am definitely getting that. It's as if you wish you didn't show up in the ways that you essentially did back then within your relationship with this person. But let's just kind of focus on the bright side of it all. If you didn't show up the way that you essentially did, you wouldn't have learned everything that you learned. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have grown and evolved as much as you essentially did. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I wouldn't look at this as like a complete and utter waste of time or anything like that. You know, I mean, granted, you spent a lot of time, worrying yourself to death when you didn't have to. You found yourself, stressing when you didn't necessarily have to, but it taught you a lot along the way nonetheless. And it drastically changed you, but it drastically changed you for the better. All right, what actions will this person take towards Virgo or moving forward? Okay, so we have the Four of Wands, we do have the Hierophant, and then we also have the Sun out here. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Knight of Swords to the Ten of Swords. We have the Page of Swords. We also have the Justice card to the Ten of Wands coming out here. Okay, I like this. Yeah, for sure, you guys have been dealing with one another for quite some time now. Going back to this person that you used to be, this person that didn't trust this individual, this person that thought this individual was out to get you and, didn't have your best interests at heart. It was very challenging and difficult for this person, primarily because this person, had to basically endure all that came with, you and your past traumas and the things that, other people have essentially put you through. And it wasn't easy, and it wasn't, yeah, it definitely wasn't easy for this person is basically what I'm getting. Just like it wasn't easy for you. I feel like everything that you essentially been through affected you, within your relationship with this person, but it also greatly affected them. So it kind of looks like the both of you were kind of going through a very challenging and difficult period throughout the course of your relationship with one another, just due to everything that you've essentially experienced in previous relationships, things of that nature. I'm also getting that this person could have done things to essentially trigger you. I am definitely getting that, but this person could have done things to essentially trigger you unknowingly is specifically what I'm getting. But point is that we kind of see the both of you reflecting back on how challenging and difficult this relationship was for the both of you due to like your past traumas and things of that nature. And to be honest, I think that you guys are extremely surprised that you guys essentially made it this far and overcame the amount of things that you guys basically overcame, with one another, because I feel like there was a point in time where you kind of found yourself feeling like, oh my God, this is too much. I can't freaking do it. And there was times where this person found themselves feeling like, oh my God, I just can't do it. This is just too fucking much. But it kind of looks like you guys fought hard to keep this dynamic here between the two of you intact and afloat. And now that you guys find yourself in a really good place, now that you guys have overcame every like obstacle that has presented itself within this dynamic between the two of you, you guys find yourselves in a much better place. This relationship for the both of you, it feels stable. It feels promising. It's something that's bringing a lot of happiness and joy into your life, and it's something that's bringing a lot of happiness and joy into their life. I feel like you've been wanting to feel this way within your relationship with this person for quite some time now, but you haven't necessarily have because of everything that you were kind of going through on your behalf, and neither have they, because of everything that you were essentially going through was ultimately affecting the relationship as well as them in the process of it all. But I just kind of feel like you guys are glad that you guys basically made it, because there was a lot of times where a lot of you guys felt that you guys just weren't going to essentially work out and or last, just due to the amount of issues that you guys were having with one another. But because you guys fought hard and, pushed through and didn't give up, you guys are essentially being, rewarded with the relationship that you guys always essentially wanted with one another in the end. All right. So with that being said, Virgo, that is what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated. And I will see you guys in your next reading. Bye.